Welcome students. I hope you all are doing good. In this video, I am going to explain you about the Indian Judiciary, Lesson 3 of History and Civics of Class 8th. So let's get into the video. Introduction to the Indian Judiciary. The Indian Judiciary administers a common law system in which customs, securities, and legislature all codify the law of the land. The judiciary is the organ of government that makes sure everything happens according to the law. It applies the law to punish the guilty and to settle disputes. It protects the rights of citizens, including the fundamental rights. The judiciary works through a network of courts. A person can be punished for an offense only if proved guilty in a court of law. Indian laws refers to the system of law which operates in India. The cases brought before a court of law are mainly of two types. One is civil cases, second is the criminal cases. Let me explain you civil cases. A civil cases involves disputes related to money, property and social matters like inheritance, divorce, etc. Secondly, the criminal cases involve offences such as thefts, robberies, murders, cheating, etc., which causes harm to the members of the society. So, my dear students, in the previous slide, you must have understood the types of cases. Now, all these cases are being presented in these court of laws. So, let's understand the structure of the judiciary. The Indian judiciary has a pyramidal structure. The Supreme Court, which is the highest court in the country, is at the top of the pyramid. Below the Supreme Court are the High Courts. The High Court is the highest court at the state level. Some states and union territories share a common High Court. Below the High Courts, there are subordinate courts. From the structure of judiciary, we can easily understand the hierarchy of the Indian judiciary. The judiciary is single and united. This means cases from the lower courts can be taken in appeal to the higher courts and ultimately to the Supreme Court. The Indian judiciary is independent. This means that the other organs of government, namely the legislature and the executive, cannot interfere in its decisions. So with this, we can understand that the judiciary in India has a pyramidal structure with the Supreme Court at the top, high courts are below the Supreme Court and below them are the district and subordinate courts. The lower courts function under the direct superintendence of the higher courts. So thus, the court finally decides on the matter. Supreme Court. The Supreme Court of India is the supreme judicial body of the Government of India and the highest court of India under the Constitution. It is the most senior constitutional court and has the power of judicial review. The Supreme Court is headed by the Chief Justice of India. It can have a maximum of 30 other judges. This number can be increased by the Parliament. The President of India appoints the Chief Justice of India. In consultation with the Chief Justice, the President also appoints the other judges of the Supreme Court. High Court. The High Courts of India are the principal civil courts of original jurisdiction in each state and union territory. However, a High Court exercises its original civil and criminal jurisdiction only if the subordinate courts are not authorized by law to try such matters. A High Court is headed by a Chief Justice. The President of India appoints the Chief Justice of a High Court after consulting the Chief Justice of India, and the Governor of the state concerned. The other judges of the High Court are appointed by the President in consultation with the Chief Justice of India, the Chief Justice of High Court, and the Governor of the state concerned. Functions and powers. Courts have jurisdiction, that is, the power to pass judgment in cases. A court may have different types of jurisdiction in different types of cases. Jurisdiction is the practical authority granted to a legal body to administer justice, as defined by the kind of a case and the location of the issue. If we see from the slide that India has 5 types of jurisdiction in different types of cases. These are original jurisdiction, appellate jurisdiction, advisory jurisdiction, supervisory jurisdiction, and court of record. So let me take you through one by one. So let's begin with the original jurisdiction. A court exercises original jurisdiction in those cases which can be heard only by that court and not by any other court. Appellate jurisdiction. A court exercises it when it hears an appeal against the judgment of the lower court. Advisory jurisdiction. A court exercises advisory jurisdiction when it gives advices on matters relating to the Constitution. Supervisory jurisdiction. A court exercises supervisory jurisdiction when it watches over the working of lower courts. Court of record. A court acts as a court of record when it keeps records of all its decisions for lower courts to refer to it in similar cases. So my dear students, up to here we have completed the types of cases, the structure of judiciary, Supreme Court and High Court and its different types of jurisdiction. Now let's get into the qualification and terms of the services. The following table shows the limits of jurisdiction of the Supreme Court and the High Courts in different types of cases. So my dear students, let's try to understand point wise. So first point is qualifications. A Supreme Court judge must be a citizen of India. Second, a High Court advocate for at least 10 years or a High Court judge for at least 5 years or a distinguished jurist, that means expert in law in the President's opinion. A High Court judge must be a citizen of India, holding a judicial office in India for at least 10 years or a High Court advocate for at least 10 years. Age of retirement for Supreme Court judge is 65 years and for High Court judge is 62 years. Third point is removal. The Supreme Court judge can be removed by the President's order if the Parliament finds the judge guilty of misuse of authority or proven misbehavior. A High Court judge can be removed by the President's order if the Parliament finds the judge guilty of misuse of authority or proven misbehavior. Fourth point is original jurisdiction. Original jurisdiction of Supreme Court includes disputes between 2 or more state governments, disputes involving the central government and 1 or more state governments. The original jurisdiction of High Court includes cases involving fundamental rights, disputes related to the state elections. Appellate jurisdiction of Supreme Court includes cases involving interpretation of the Constitution, cases sent by High Courts, criminal cases in which a higher court changes a lower court's decision and gives a death sentence, review of its own earlier decisions. Appellate jurisdiction of High Court includes appeals against the decisions of the subordinate courts. Advisory jurisdiction of Supreme Court includes constitutional issues on which the President seeks advice. The advice is not binding on the President. Supervisory jurisdiction of Supreme Court has over all courts below it, and supervisory jurisdiction of High Court over all courts below it. Court of Record of Supreme Court includes all cases as it records all of its decisions. Court of Record for High Court includes all cases as it records all of its decisions. Let's understand subordinate courts. Subordinate courts are the courts which are under authority or control of another court or lower in position by law. So here comes the district court. A state is divided into districts for administrative convenience. At the district level, the highest court dealing with civil cases is the court of the district judge. The court of the sessions judge is the highest court for criminal cases. The district judge also acts as the sessions judge. The courts at the district level hear appeals against the decisions of lower courts. Appeals against the decisions of the district courts are taken to the High Court of the state. Revenue courts. Disputes in matters of payment of revenue are settled through revenue courts. The Board of Revenue is the highest revenue court in a state, and appeals can be taken from the Board of Revenue to the High Court. The Court of the Collector is the most important revenue court in a district. Below this, there are lower courts. Revenue court means a court having jurisdiction under any local law to entertain suits or other proceedings related to the rent, revenue, or profits of land used for agricultural purposes, but does not include a civil court having original jurisdiction under this court. Nyaya Panchayats. The Nyaya Panchayats are the judicial components of the panchayat system which performs the lowest rung of our judiciary. They are created for the administration of justice at the local or rural level. In rural areas, there are small law courts known as Nyaya Panchayats. It often serves 3 or 4 villages. It tries petty civil and criminal cases and impose small fines. Appeals can be taken from the Nyaya Panchayats to higher courts. Lok Adalats. It is said that justice delayed is justice denied. In our country, India, the legal process has become lengthy and expensive. To solve this problem, Lok Adalat have been introduced. In Lok Adalat simplifies the legal procedures. They are presided over by retired judges. The disputing parties put forward their cases and the matter is settled without a pleader or an advocate. The first Lok Adalat was held in Delhi in 1985 and nearly 150 cases were settled in a day. So with that, I have completed 4 subordinate courts which includes district courts, revenue courts, Nyaya Panchayats and Lok Adalat. So let's move further into the video. Importance of the judiciary in India. The Supreme Court of India is the highest authority of the judiciary, as we have already known from the previous slides. But first of all, we need to understand the role of the judiciary system. Courts in India are responsible for handling and passing decisions on multiple issues. How a school should treat the students, or if 2 states can share each other's resources, etc. The courts also have the right to punish people for the crimes they commit. Almost every social situation which needs a rule is managed by the judiciary. So here comes the importance of judiciary in India and in our own lives. Let's understand point wise. The first point, it protects the fundamental rights of the citizens and preserves democracy. Yes, this is very important role in India which is being played by our Indian judiciary. Second, as the Indian judiciary is single and united, it appeals against the decisions of lower courts and can be taken to the higher courts. Third, the Supreme Court interprets the Constitution and prevents the violation of the Constitution. Fourth, the judiciary is kept free from the interference of the other organs of the government so that it can give impartial justice. With that, we can understand how important is judiciary for the people of its country. The judiciary is the branch of the government that makes sure everything happens according to the law. It punishes the guilty, settles disputes, and protects the rights of citizens. So, my dear students, here I am concluding the chapter 3 of his Civics, the Indian Judiciary. If you have any problem or any confusion, you can ask your concerned teacher. So let's move further for a few questions which you need to answer by just understanding the video. These are the quick answers. Name the following questions. First, name the highest court in the country and the highest court in a state. Second question, who settle matters relating to payment of revenue? Third question, which rural courts that try petty, civil and criminal cases? Fourth question, what is the age of retirement for Supreme Court judge? Question number 5, how many types of cases brought before the law courts? Thank you and have a nice day.